Hey, everybody. We are live. Welcome to another episode of Epic Time. This is episode 3.3, meaning we are on the third day, and this is the third show of the day. So, and technically, this is probably the fourth show of the day because I had to split this morning's up a hot minute. So that was kind of funny. But as you see, this is going to be my setup for the next couple days until I get to Sturgis. I'm in the middle of loading my truck up. I got it all loaded up. I just have to get my bike put in the back, and then I'm going to be heading to Sturgis. So I just want to come on this middle of the day stuff, and I forget to share it all the time. I got to do things because it's always a pain in the butt. But anyhow, I just want to come on and share some stuff because there's a lot going on with this ride already. This split thing has really been kind of a, a tip, so to speak. So some people gotta really get their head wrapped around something so crazy and new. And I just need to share this to a Hoka Hey page, and now we're good. So anyhow, but I'm gonna bring this up right away and get this to the stage. Oh, what did that do? I forgot it opened up a new page. My bad. Stop that one because I go through our website to open up to get to the tracker. So to share it, I didn't realize it opened another screen once I did that. But like I say, this is going to be my home away from home for the next couple shows. But this is the tracker. It's been a joy to watch already. I'm going to back it out a little bit so we can kind of see what we got going on. Now it's a little more crisp to see, and you really have, kind of like two separate events going on right now. We have group one that is heading to the East Coast, Rhode Island to be more specific. And in typical Hoka fashion, this is not the way to get to the East Coast. I live on the East Coast. I've made the trip from where they were at to the East Coast multiple times, and I have never went this way. So we'll start with this group. Let's see, we roll in up here. I kind of glanced at it a little bit while I was getting ready for the hotel. Looks like we got Teeter out front. Let's see, or Iceman, or both maybe. Yes, both. So Teeter and Iceman are rolling side by side, it looks like, and they are on 35. So that's pretty awesome. They're so tight, you're getting teeter ice kind of shaking it together. So you kind of see if you get this hooked to satellite, again, you go to this upper right hand corner and you hit that little thing right here, and then you click the group markers and it'll pinch it together or separate it. If you want to have the satellite like this, I really like this because you can kind of get an idea if they're in the mountains, if they're in farmland, you kind of see what they see, so to speak. So where they're at right there, you click on one of them. I'll click on Teeter, and you kind of get an idea where they're at. I think that's kind of cool. That's, Teeter's view right now is rolling down that road. And I think the technology is pretty amazing. And they're out in front a little bit. And like I say, none of this matters on day one or two or three. This is a long road. Getting ahead a little bit or behind a little bit means nothing if you're gonna do something. But you got three riders right here all riding together. What do we got here? Dirty Dan, Roadrunner, and Ren. So they're rolling along. They're clipping along good. Nice neighbor or countryside they're rolling through. Bluff siding. And this is right on the Wisconsin-Minnesota border. And they're following the Mississippi River right here. And this is a famous place for, riders. I grew up in Minnesota, and this is awesome to ride. I mean, this is epic to be riding on it. It's hard for even me to get how cool it is. And I understand there has been a crash already, tip over and a crash. So somebody tipped their bike in an intersection. That's no big deal. We laugh at that. But I do understand there was a crash. And I have not heard, somebody asked if Dirty Dan is the defending champ. He sure is. So he's the defending champ, and he's a great rider. So he's pushing hard again, and I fully expect him to push hard all the way till the end. He spends a lot of time. That's the key to these people that are out in front. They spend a lot of time on their scoots. This isn't their first getaway, that's for sure. So it's kind of fun. But there was an accident, and they got rerouted, and I don't know where that was. That's when I was loading my truck up, so I wasn't glued to the tracker. But they rerouted some people back here, and I think that might account for this gap. So whenever you see something that kind of took place and there's a gap here, there might have been an accident right in here somewhere. I'm not sure if this is the lone bike over here, 1370. So let's hope and pray that that rider is okay. But I do know there was a crash involving a motorcycle. I'm gonna go out on a limb and get that's ours. Somebody in the ride. So you can see that though. Here they are. There is 3 monsters right here that I saw, maybe 4. There's Wrong Way, that's 1. And I thought Frosty was in there too. But there's Wrong Way right there, chasing up Hong Kong. There's Frosty. Thought I saw him. There's Frosty. There's Rob. There's Value. So there's the four monsters right together, banging away. So that's kind of fun. So if they take a wrong turn, they're in it. They're in it together. I would assume Frosty knows this road. I would guess she's been down here before. It's beautiful bluff country down there, and just really, really nice riding. It's really hard to put that into words. Right over here in Reno, on the other side of the river, I got pulled over not that long ago. Nice little town, nice little sheriff. He was very understanding about my inability to follow the speed limit. So, give him a high five if we happen to roll through there. But there's Hawk. So you get an idea of what this is going. And this is really cool when you look at it. Like, this is day 1. What are we, 6 hours-ish from when we started? And look at the spread already. Like, it's amazing to me. That is one thing that has always amazed me about this ride. And if somebody takes the time and you Google Bay City even, or wherever they are right here. Let's see if I know that town. Trevino they're coming into. So Trevino to the back, just if you did it on Google Maps, how long that takes. And look at how spread out that is with riders. And this is day 1, 6 hours in, I think, maybe a little bit more than 6 hours. Happy to see Hippie back here, my man. Got himself squared away, and now he's rolling down the highway. There's Hippie's view. So is he shooting along right now? That's what he's looking at. He got himself back on track, got himself going, and that's great. I'm not sure where this went. These guys got detoured with whatever happened, and maybe some in the comments will know what happened, but I don't know for sure. So I don't want to spread anything, and that's that. So, and Bill, there is two separate rides going on here. So this group is going to this top group heading out to Rhode Island. Kind of fun. And the bottom group is heading to Mississippi, and they're not going to take the most direct route. So let's zoom in on that bottom one and see how they're doing this morning. Afternoon, I guess. There we go. Who we got out in front? We got Loco, and we got Mile Eater and Gopher. So that's pretty awesome. I know of all 3 of those guys, and they're all great riders and a lot of fun to watch. So, they're going to give each other a battle and a little push, and they're on some rough looking roads right here as far as, eating up time. Let's just zoom in on Loco going around a lake here. See, that's all wooded. This is not interstate. This is not a 4-lane superhighway. This is a county road at best on a Sunday. You got to be careful about not getting nailed for any kind of speeding violations. I haven't checked that either, but I'm sure somebody right now is sitting on a speeding ticket, really bummed they're not going to be a finisher already, because it happens every time, and if you happen to do, 40 and a 35, you can get nailed. 50 and a 40 on a motorcycle. I always think the speed limit should be higher on a motorcycle anyhow. They can get out of things, they can go around things, and they can brake much better. I think it's stupid to have my F-250 have a speed limit of 40 and their Road Glide with the best riders in the world have a speed limit of 40. That makes no sense to me, but what do I know? I don't have enough sense to be a politician, so that's that. There's Terry. She's riding. It's pretty fun here to see that, but this group is headed to Mississippi at some point, and I see that a lot of the riders that decided to see both sides of the river that we were looking at this morning, looks like they got everything squared away and back in business. Here we got Hyde, who is back here, and there's Hines. But Hyde here is the one who came across the finish line last year on a panhead. So he had an old panhead, kickstart, hardtail, you name it, and it doesn't have it. It has a motor, a transmission, and a hardcore biker on top of it, and that's about it. So he's probably not used to riding anything with a nice suspension and all that, but he's cruising along. I think he made a wrong turn and he had to make up for that, but he's going good. And we got Hines here. He's a long-time rider. What is his number? 3 something. I know that, 332. So you keep an eye on Hines. He can still get after it. But you see, I keep rolling this mouse the wrong way. But you see how spread out this group is as well. We got a rider over here that I'm going to go out on a limb and say they went the wrong way. And you can always trace that back. So they're cruising along on whatever road that is. Was that 24? They're cruising around on 24. When you chase that back, you can see that right here, they missed a turn. They were staring at McDonald's and not staring at the road signs. So they should have taken a left there, and they didn't. And now they're still on 24, and I'm guessing, what is that, 99? They were supposed to take a left on. Now that poor rider is going to have to figure out the hard way that 99 is not anywhere over there. And that's me kind of guessing, because maybe that one rider is the only one that's right and the entire group is wrong. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say these are pretty good riders, and most of them are not going to be wrong. So whoever that is, oh, there's 2 of them. Now they really feel confident. That's the bad part about riding with 2 people, is that you get your confidence because they didn't notice it either. So you must be doing okay. But they're cruising along. They got some nice scenery. Right now they're taking it all in. They've been around a hot minute. That's rider number 815. And what's behind them? Rider number 1102. So they both have had a Hoka under their belt. So they should be able to get it, and they'll correct that, and they'll go back. And that's what makes the challenge a challenge. So some people think, they should be getting help or getting something for this, and that's not a challenge. It's a ride. If you are somebody that receives text and phone calls and is staring at your tracker, watching it all the time, you are on a ride. And that is much different than taking a challenge. So it is the world's toughest motorcycle challenge, not the world's toughest motorcycle tour of the countryside on a nice summer day with your pals. This is a challenge, and what makes it a challenge is all this cool stuff that these riders have to endure. And, like, it's bad timing. You could come into a bridge that's out. There could be a flood. The riders out in front, they're out in front. You could have a day lead, and then a road, something could happen to a road, and it's closed for 8 hours. Just closed. And you have to just sit there and wait. And that's part of the challenge. And then everybody catches up to you, and you're all angry. But that's the way it goes. And the riders in the back might have the same thing. you might be past something, and there could be a forest fire, could be a bridge out, could be a car, something happens and they close something and now it's stopped and you're pulling away. So it's one of those things that you never know which way you're going to go, but it happens to everybody. And I'm super thirsty and I found a Red Bull in my truck, so bear with me while I have a drink. Go Home Ken gave me this while he got on his bike, and it might have been Dana's. It's the Pink Edition Wild Berries. So I don't know that I've ever had that, but if I start bouncing off the walls of my truck pretty soon, you'll know why. But anyhow, back to the stuff that matters here. But you see that, how you see your friends and your family and your coworkers, and like I've said before, it's pretty awesome to watch them. Just pick somebody. There's a booze fighter Teach right here. I happen to know him. He was inspired to ride the Hoka after I gave a talk about the Hoka that's going back a few years, and he's been trying to make it happen, and he finally made it happen. So that's pretty cool. He's a really good dude. Been riding motorcycle a long time, and really gets after it. So that's a lot of fun. But there's Hyde, there's Gene right here. Let's see who we got. There's some riders here that I kind of expected to be out in somewhere nearby here. I want to see if we can find them. There's English. That's one that I was looking for. 1113. There's his View. That's another hardcore rider. Had a couple health issues, the last one in 24, and still did very well. That was despite bouncing it off a moose and getting after it like that. So, these are just highlighting some people that I know well and watch, and kind of, I kind of feel like you're gonna get some entertainment value by watching these people. Let's see if we can pick somebody else here. Everybody's moving along pretty good now, and you're gonna see them separating like crazy. So you're gonna see riders that, this group won't be this tight tomorrow. Definitely not the next day. All of this will be spread way out to the point that when somebody is at the checkpoint in Mississippi, they're going to be people, hundreds and hundreds of miles behind. By the time they're at the second checkpoint, there'll be people just leaving the first checkpoint. When they get to the third checkpoint, people will be there's always, it'll be spread out from checkpoint to checkpoint. And this having two groups like we have this year, it's going to fill it up, and they're going to be just everywhere. So it's going to be very hard. Know your people's numbers. Go up here and pick who it is you want to follow and type their name and number in. So I'm just going to pick somebody to show it to you again. So let's say we want to go with 1311 Frosty. You click on that. Now, you don't know if she's in the South group heading to Mississippi. You don't know if she's in the group heading to, Rhode Island. You give her a click, and there she is. You can get rid of that X and follow her. I got it kind of zoomed in, but I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. You can literally see where they're going, what they're doing, what they're running past. And I think that's pretty awesome. They're going through some town right now that has some traffic, because you can see the traffic that took place when, whenever Google Earth did this little imagery. That's a good sized group they got rolling right now in some town. The people are definitely looking at them. They're catching some eyes. And you see somebody who stops. Generally, they're banging into a gas station. And that's going to be where the Hoka is won, lost, why somebody makes the party and somebody doesn't. That comes into these gas stops. Like these right here, somebody stopped. That might be a stoplight. Yep, that was a stoplight. You can watch them go to the gas stations, and you're going to see the excellent riders. You'll see them swing right into a gas station. You can zoom in, and they're going to be at the Exxon. They're going to be at, a Wawa, wherever they are out in the country. But you can zoom in, and you'll get an idea of the level of long distance rider by the time they take at that stop. So if you're bored and you want to watch these trackers, follow somebody. They're going to get gas they're in towns here, so they're getting them every 180 miles or so. But out in the country, I would have to say 150 miles tops. They're going to be banging in to get gas. So that goes by very fast. A lot of gas stops because you don't want to take a chance of running out. So if you watch somebody and they stop, zoom in on them, take a glance at your watch, and then when they take off, that tracker turns green again and it's rolling. Take a look at your watch, and you're going to see the people who are elite riders stops 3 minutes and they're back on the road. If somebody's in there for 15 minutes at every gas stop, every 180 miles they're stopping, and then they're in there for 10 minutes, they're going to struggle to get to the party at the end in 2 weeks. It's going to be a struggle. And that's where this comes into play, is the mental discipline it takes to do what they're doing for 14 days is an incredible feat. I mean, each one of these riders is a beast in their town. You know, they are the king of the road in their town. And then they come here and there's 270 king of the roads. So they're just another really good rider doing their thing. So keep that in mind, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, 2 routes. I'm just checking out the thing here. Let's see. Awesome. I'd like to see new people that kind of don't even know. We got some new comments here. Let's get to that. The checkpoint in Mississippi is Southern Thunder, and it's just south of Memphis. I'm not sure the name of the town that is. I can look it up and have that for you, the next one, but it's Southern Thunder Harley. So if you look that up, you'll find that in 2 seconds. And there is a list of all the riders on the Hoka Hey website. I can put a link up to that, one of these, and be good so you can see it. And then you can follow whomever you want. If you know somebody or what, on our website, we have all the people that are riding for Mile Monsters. So if you're looking for somebody who's riding for Mile Monsters, right on our main page, you scroll down, you see all their names and rider numbers, and then you can just type in the rider number and go. So it's kind of fun to see this. And I'll check to see if I can get a full list of all the riders. I'm not really sure. South Haven. Thank you, Mooney. James, I knew would know what town that was. I was just hoping to see he was watching. But that's awesome. Let's see. That's pretty funny. You see what I mean? Like, people are always watching. You never know who's watching, who's, that, what they got going on. Marky Mark went way off course and had to backtrack. You must have heard him, heard you yelling. That's pretty funny. You're telling him from Florida. That's so funny because I laugh and that's just part of it. It really is. Like, I can't tell you enough of how much it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks when you're off course, especially when it's 50 miles. You don't want to go a mile further than you have to. And when you start going 50 miles one way out of your way, it's 100 miles to go back, round trip to get to where you were. So that's just 100 wasted miles, wasted time, wasted, tread on your tire. It's all the little things that people don't, even think about. Your brake pads, your tires, your oil, everything that all adds up. So, that stuff that, you do, it's the win and loss of it. Who can run the cleanest ride really comes down to how they're gonna, excel at this. But I think it's amazing. I mean, some of these riders are just such a high level of endurance rider. It's crazy, and others aren't. Others are here to test their ability to sleep outside and to navigate, but they have no desire to ride up with these 2 lunatics, Iceman and Teeter. These 2 are, if you could get paid to ride motorcycle, they'd be professionals. I've ridden with both of them a lot. They're both have their stuff dialed in because they do it a lot. Teeter just did 100,000 miles in a year, a few years back, and they take the time to practice. They take the time to excel at their craft. And I have mad respect for that. You know, people say, well, if I had more time, if I had this, I have that. You can have all the time in the world. There's all kinds of retired people that have all kinds of time. That doesn't turn you into the best riders in the world. Some people are just better at this stuff naturally. And then when they practice, they are really, really good. And that's okay. And these people that are way back here, you know, they think they're way behind. That's nothing. That's a mishap. Dash, rider number 1285. That's a mishap by a couple of these riders. And boom, you're out in the front. So, and there's a lot of pressure to riding out front. Iceman and Teeter right now are sweating bullets. I'll guarantee it. Trying not to make mistakes and take one of these wrong turns and have the whole world, because everybody, when they open up these trackers, is looking to see who's out in front. They want to see who these top tier riders are and their names, and they're watching them, and people will feel like they know them. And that's pretty cool. I like that. Here's Raindrop. I know her well. Another beast of a rider. She can really get after it. She was having a great run in 2024 until she made a wrong turn, ended up on a dirt road and biffed it in the ditch and wrecked a perfectly good motorcycle. So we're not going to see that this year from her, but she is a great rider. Somebody just can, another one that can really get after it. But this is a tight group right here. Look at these riders going from, you know, the whole way. Not just riding up the Mississippi River right now. A beautiful day to be out for a ride. You know, at least for me, I'm sitting in my truck. I don't know if it's horrible there or not, but I better check the comments here because I'm like on a different screen. There you go. Great River Road is a beautiful road, and it's, I would guess they're going to see some eagles there. It's hard not to see them on parts of that road. So maybe, Sherry, that you could get into the 2028. It'll be 10 years since I started it, and it'd be fun to see you on the starting line. So that would be pretty awesome. He says it's way south. All right, somebody says way south to South Haven. So it's over there somewhere. So depends on what your definition of way south is. Because if you're coming from Illinois, it's a little bit south of South Haven. If you're in South Haven, it's probably way south. But it's fun to see it. But they're headed there somewhere. But that's the beauty of it, is they're heading down. Let's get to that southern group. You know, they're heading down, and I don't know exactly where it is, but let's say it's right here. You know, they're in the Mark Twain National Forest right now. Well, they're not coming here. So I don't know where they're going, but I'm familiar with where they're at, and it sure is nice. That is a beautiful, beautiful part of the country to be rolling around. There's Loco and Gopher and Yas right there, Mile Eater. That's who's tearing it up right now. And right behind them is the pack. Pretty exciting to see. So if you see anybody you know in there, anybody got anybody right here, any friends of Hooch, Stacks, Hope Dealer, that's a clever name. I like that. Smiles with many tears, maybe. That's a problem when people have too long a name, then it gets lost and it like doesn't even show up for a while because it's such a long name. You got to shorten that stuff up so people can easily zoom in. See who this is right here, the orange one. Frankie, number 1377. See his view there. If that was his view, he'd be breaking the law right about now, because that looks like a no passing from his side. But it'd be pretty funny if that was an actual live view that you could see. That'd be fun. But all right, this is what you got. This is what they're doing. You got your heading south and heading north. And the heading north is actually headed way over here. And that's the thing that really makes this stand out. These riders are riding the same distance. So Iceman over here is traveling right now to get right here over in Providence, Rhode Island. So you can see that they're heading north. So I would assume they're heading over here and going to come down through Michigan. based on how they're heading north. I can't imagine they're going to head any further west. But anyhow, you see how far that is to go from where they're at to Rhode Island. Right here, the little hook right there. So if they're in Rhode Island, right there, that's a long ways to go. So that's the same distance these guys have to go to get to right here. So clearly that 2 inches on my map or 3 inches isn't the direction they're going. So I don't know where they're going to go, but knowing the Hokahay, they're going to go down and back up, and Indiana, who knows, back down around Mississippi, circle around. You get dizzy watching this tracker. And when this tracker hooks up and fills in a little more, and if you miss a couple days, I would say in 4 days, this whole eastern seaboard is going to be filled with, I love how I point to it like have a magic hand that's going to appear on your screen like the weather guy with a green screen. That's not how it works. So I would guess this whole eastern seaboard is going to be just filled with trackers, and it's going to be a complete and utter zoo trying to figure out where they're going and who's on their way there and who's on their way back. But it's exciting. Right now, they're kind of a straight line, makes it really easy. But that straight line is going to drop pretty quick. I love when you see the one heading off. So let's see if they're still heading the wrong way. Oh, no, looks like they're coming back. So we got a couple riders here that are just exploring the Mississippi River. They're definitely not supposed to be there, but they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out, and they'll backtrack, and they'll get back on to where they're supposed to be and figure it out. Gopher and I were together 1 year, and we were both so lost. I didn't know if I was coming or going. And you get to the point, it gets so frustrating, you just want to pull your hair out and be done, and you can't because I don't have enough. But it's fun. It's a great, great time. Let's see, here's a great question. Anywhere we can see the route. The route is unavailable to anybody. Just the riders have the directions, and they have the directions. If you're not familiar with this, they are getting direction. They are looking at it, and it says, in less than 7 miles, take a right on Carlton Road. And in more than 15 miles, take a left on County Road 67. That's what the directions look like. And from there, they're just following those directions. So that's why it's so easy to get off course, is because you're not paying attention to something for a minute. You'll go straight when you should have turned. And the best part about the directions are they could tell you take a right on County Road 35. Or, yeah, they'll say County Road 35, they tell you to take a right. You take a right on County Road 35, and it tells you to take a left on Jefferson Street in 80 miles. Well, that County Road 35 might have 65 turns in that 80 miles because it's just going to go left, right, left, left, straight, whatever it is. And it is so hard to stay focused knowing that you have to stay on 35 no matter how many turns it takes, but you don't have to turn off of 35 until you come to 75 miles. So at 75 miles, you have to look to take a right on Jefferson, but you have to stay on 35, and that might turn right any number of places. So it's very hard to stay on track and stay mentally focused for 14 days when your body says, I am tired, I'm shot. Like, let's stop and sleep. I don't want to do this anymore, whatever the case is. And then to say, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep figuring it out. And people are laughing today because they see this straight line and they see these trackers that go off a little bit and they laugh at somebody. I had a chuckle at a couple of them that I know and, laugh at. But these people are pretty fresh. When you watch this after 10, 11 days and they miss a turn, that turn will put them off down the road for a long ways. And then you'll see it turn red and they'll just stop because they're so pissed off that they have to go back. And it's like trying to do a math problem when you're drunk. Is what it's like trying to figure out these directions when you're exhausted. So you're exhausted and now you're somewhere you shouldn't be, but you're not even sure where you should have been and not sure if you should go back there because you're not 100% sure you ever were there. And that just mind blows you. And then you can't sleep because you don't know where you are. So when you wake up, you don't know where to go. And you add all that anxiety and stress to what you got going on, it is just devastating to the mind. And that's why so many people fail and end up done at day 7 or 8 and then have to regroup for 3 or 4 days. Then they end up coming in 22 or 23 days, way further than their quality, their rider, puts them, is because they just made some bad choices and had some bad timing and were overdone. And if you push too far when you're overdone, you're in a lot of trouble. If you push too hard when your brain can't function, and as this goes on, I can bring some people on here, tell some stories. I can tell you some stories, but right now it's adrenaline and smiles or anger, depending on which person you are. If you're the one that's making all the right choices and you're out in front, they're all smiles. Stress, Yas right now is out leading group 2, him and Gopher, and I think there was one other one there. There's a lot of stress with that. So they're stressing it out because they don't want to look bad, make a bad choice. The people in the back are stressed because they already made a bad choice and they want to be leading, but now they're in the middle of the pack. The guys in the back of the pack are pissed off because they were in the middle of the pack and they made a bad choice. At the end of the day, after 14 days, is just filled with bad choices and bad luck. And it's who overcomes that and stays focused and can keep those gas stops dialed in, who can keep them, 3 minutes, you're on the road again. Who goes to bed and who can set up for bed, pull over, and who can have their entire camp be set up in 10 minutes. And tomorrow morning, when they wake up, they can have their entire camp set back up and put back on the bike in 5 to 10 minutes. Those are the people that are going to start gaining. It's not necessarily the riding that's putting people out ahead. There's a lot of great riders. It is the stopping, the sleeping, the problems with their maps. They got to ride slow because their design isn't working. Their idea they had for displaying the directions isn't working. And they're just at wit's end about it, just stressed out. And anybody who's ever done anything in life worth doing knows what it's like to be stressed out and just kind of a little bit, I don't know if wigging out is the word, but like that. But all these riders here, they're all great riders. They're all coming in, and this is not an easy route. By looking at this so far, I don't know who designed this one totally, if it was Steve or who did it all, but this looks like a route that's going to be a challenging route. I don't see how they're going to do what they're going to do by jumping on anything. They're not taking interstates, and I'm pretty familiar with this area, and there's not a lot of fast country roads to be on. So I think it's going to be a test, this one. Going to be a hard test, and that test is going to be not won today. Champion from 2018, Billy, he gave the greatest advice I've ever heard. Is when I lined up at 2020, he said that no one is going to win this thing today on day one. You cannot win it on day one, but you can lose it on day one and day two. So when people keep that in mind, that was great advice that Billy had, and I've never forgot that. And I always thought, yeah, I might get behind, I might do things, but I don't want to lose it. I don't want to get a speeding ticket. I don't want to crash. I don't want to have anything major malfunction with my bike or my body. That was the goal. Even if I made mistakes, I kind of took a deep breath and let's go. And what I did when I rode was, if I made a mistake and I had to go back, I forced myself to do the exact speed limit to return. That helped me get my mind right and get my mind in check to not ride with anger and not ride and get on tilt, so to speak, like poker, where you lose a hand and then you lose the next 5 hands because you're on tilt. And that was great for me. And it was kind of like punishment, so to speak. It would be like, yeah, you made a bad choice. Now you're going to get punished. Not only the miles, but you got to do the speed limit, exactly the speed limit to get back on track. And it works for me. Like it worked great because I'm pissed I did it. I'm pissed I got to go back, and I'm double pissed I'm doing the speed limit. I am not one to do the speed limit right on. I'm like, it's all I can do to stay at 5 over, 10 over, but doing 50 and a 50, 30 and a 30, 35 and a 35 on a motorcycle is a pain in the ass. So to do that, it helped me get my blood pressure back in check, calm down, and then start following my directions like a champ would do, not like a chump would do. So try to do that, take Billy's advice. So it's pretty cool, really cool to do it. Let's see, somebody's got something to say about New England. Yeah, that's a lot of truth to that. Over New England, it's going to be a little nuts. It is beautiful, but the roads, I just did a ride over there and I was like, damn, they get over here, they're going to have a ride. That's for sure. So hopefully the riders got, good suspension and their bodies are ready for a beat down. But one last look here. We're going to wrap this up here in about 2 minutes. I want to give everybody one last look at how spread out this is getting already. And I still want to know what's up with Chrisman's tracker. So I'll have to find that out, try to get some answers for you. Looks like we got somebody coming back. These riders look like they're heading back. So they figured out that they got to the end of their line and they realized that they made a big boo-boo. But that's part of the game. Fun. Gopher. If Maggie's watching, Maggie, your man's doing awesome. I'm so happy he's here. Get to start out in his old stomping grounds and get after it another year. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to, before we get out of here, we'll just take one last look at who's out front with both these packs and what kind of a Loco, Voss, and Gopher got a pretty good cut ahead of people, but this isn't much. If this was a 1-day challenge, yeah, that's a pretty good size lead. It's not a 1-day challenge, so it doesn't matter. Let's get up here and see who's enjoying the Great River Road. Teeter and Iceman. They are heading up to areas that I am very familiar with. I grew up not far from here. If you see the map right here, I grew up right here. So that was this whole area right here was what I considered my backyard, from Cambridge down through Iceni and that. So this is all areas when I rode motorcycle down here. I rode a lot all through this. This 35, they have a defrost your nuts run every spring. I got in a little trouble on that ride. That was this road. So if my wife's still watching, this is the road I got clocked on going a little bit above the speed limit. I don't know why I did that. I didn't touch anything. But anyhow, there's Iceman and Teeter. They're whooping up some stomping grounds. I can't wait to talk to those guys about it because I like to ride up there. So it's fun when they can say, yeah, that's beautiful, and we can talk about it. And it's something about this ride that only riders can do. There's some things that nobody ever gets other than the riders. So when they talk about it, they can't go home and talk about it for sure because people don't really understand what they did and they can't comprehend it. Nobody can comprehend 10,000 miles. They just think it's a number. They don't understand that's going from New York to LA to New York to LA to Denver to get 10,000 miles. Going to get 11,000, you might have to go to Kansas City. So it's just a crazy amount to get people to understand. When we rode from Key West to Homer and told people Key West to Homer, they could picture that length and they were in awe. You show somebody a map while they rode around the country, they're like, oh, that looks neat, but they don't understand exactly how how hard that is. So that's pretty funny. Big Bird is following Marky Mark's route to nowhere. You can't follow if the one guy's lost. I don't even know what group Marky Mark is in. So see if we can find what is I don't know Big Bird's number either. So that's funny. But that's the thing, and this technology and this has grown so much that you're not making any mistakes that somebody doesn't see. That's the best part. Like if you're gonna suck, then you better get ready to get shit about it because you're gonna suck really bad, and everybody's gonna hassle you about it. And if you got to go back to work, when this is over with, and you were here and there and everywhere, and an 11,000 mile challenge and you got 13,000 miles, like we better get ready to get a lot of crap about it because there's people around the world watching this. There's people watching, this is just me doing this, talking about it through Mile Monsters, and there's a bunch of other people talking about it. So there's just something going on with everybody all the time, and everybody will know that you did something that's not right. And you can sit and watch people be all messed up. And it's easy to tell who's messed up because when you have 3 bikes, 4 bikes, like right here, somebody's not right. Like, look at this chaos going on. We got Biff, Bell, Jones, Spanky. We got a Pollock here because I could just see a ski on the end. A Bandit over here. Nobody's on the same road. I don't even know who's right and who's wrong because Davidson, like nobody is right. Well, I shouldn't say nobody's right. Somebody's right. I get a picture of that because that cracks me up. This I can relate to so much. And then when you try to figure out who's right and who's wrong, they'll be passing each other. They're going to be running around like they'll be going back through each other, whatever. But this is the challenge. And this is frustrating as hell. Like these two up here and these two down here, somebody's wrong. There's not a doubt about it. Bell and Biff and Bandit and Davidson and Ward, Jones, Spanky, like they can't all be right because they're not all on the same road. So somebody is wrong. And I don't know what happened, to get them to this point. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's got something to do with this little jackass circle right here. That could be something. I don't know. But this is the challenge. Here comes Coach. So we can watch Coach coming up 1086 and see what he does. If Coach goes straight, then maybe nobody's supposed to be even hitting this circle because these 3 riders up here never turned. So right now, all I know is they are 10 riders in the same place and they just took 10 different routes. And this is the part that does make it fine for me because I can laugh because I'm not doing it. It's much more stressful when your name is on that screen and they're like, do you see what Ryan did? That guy can't find his way out of a circle. He's going around and around this way, that way, and back. So it's much more entertaining. And right now, we just watched that point again. We just watched. These guys are passing each other. So 10:28 went by it. And here, Bell went up and Coach went straight. So somebody is not on the right track here. I don't know what the directions say, but where you're on alternate 90 and whatever other road that is, like somebody's wrong. So there's no doubt about it. Somebody's wrong. Davidson over here, I hope that's a part of Harley Davidson because it'd be really funny. They got all kinds of miles on it. Poor Biff over here is like not sure what's going on. They're checking out. Maybe they're thinking about relocating the family and they're checking out some houses while they're out and about. Because he's in the neighborhood. Let's see what Biff is looking at. Oh, I want to see his view. Biff, I would follow you, but I'm not sure if I want to follow. You got to impress us a little more before I decide to follow you. Well, he's going to the park. Maybe decide to take a nap. Right about now, as Biff's staring at the houses, he's got to be thinking, shit, I really screwed this up. I am definitely not supposed to be at 407 16th Street South. I'm guessing that that's not part of it. Yeah, maybe there's a little league game going on. And he can at least get some entertainment while he's rolling around. A coach went that way and another one went the other way. So I have no idea. I don't even know where we are looking here. It's Minnesota-Wisconsin border again. And who knows? Like you look at all this, and this could be something that, we're looking at a Google view here. This could be something that a road is closed and they're telling people to find your own way too. And that does happen. So, there could be something, but I don't know what's closed because we just watch riders go across it. But oops. But we'll look at two more coming and see if coach was right, if he just made the right choice. And that's the problem with some of these is you look at this road, they're clearly trying to get up to here where Davidson is. So even if you miss your turn here, they all go to it. And if you take this way, it all goes to it. So these are the ones that can really trip people up and make you not a finisher. I mean, you got a lot of people just kind of roaming around here. We got a whole pack right here that is going somewhere. I'm not sure where. And maybe these other ones were the ones that were wrong and all the ones over here, right? Man, at this point, I don't even know. I was trying to get out of here, but this damn thing's addicting and fun to watch because now I'm like, I feel like watching a TV show and they like keep stringing it out to hook you. Like there should be a commercial coming up right now, and like the show where they were Deal or No Deal, and right where they're gonna show up the money's in there, they're like, we'll be right back. So maybe I should take a commercial break. We're sponsored today by Wild Berry Red Bull. The pink edition makes me feel manly as I ride away in my F-250 instead of a motorcycle like all these champions. Oh, there's what they're supposed to do. Back from commercial break now. That's what you're supposed to do. Whole pack took a left there. This is just evil. In a circle, they had you take a left on Market Street. Oh, Steve, you're just mean. That was a main drag up there. Those are the tricky ones. A main drag, you just want to go that way. And now you got to take a left on Market Street. Nice recovery by one of them. Yeah. And then they go up. That's a third one in a row that stayed on that road. So I'm guessing you four that came over here and played around in the neighborhood and went sightseeing over in Candyland. I'm guessing that you made a mistake. So I don't know. I'm not the judge of the jury. I'm just the guy here to laugh at things and be happy it's not me. But I've been laughed at. I put more miles on every challenge I did than the vast majority of people. So, and that's not because I went sightseeing while I was doing it. I went rioting around instead, which meaning like, oh, I'll go check that out. I'll check this out. And it was never on purpose. I get to check out a lot of country on accident. And I even crashed in 2022 and it wasn't on route. So that'll tell you how well I navigated sometimes. And Marky Mark seems to be back on track here. So we're all right. He got it dialed in. Got to laugh. So it'll be fun. This is the one I'm a little worried about, that might be intersection accident. So I hope that 1370 is okay. And we'll be saying some prayers for 1370. I know there was an accident. I missed that. Let's hope that rider is okay and gets back on it and good to go. So, hi, Buffy. I miss you. So I hope to hopefully you'll be at the end of the road. Got a lot of people here. It's hard to get anything done during this. I hear it. Very addicting. But I have to go now. So we'll let everybody go. Try to come back, but then I got entertained with the mess. We'll back out and give one last look at everything. There's Ridgeway, another monster, giving it his all. But there's the track. They're already taken up, a good part of the country. You're from basically the Twin Cities down to Chicago and all the way down to, getting near Branson. So Springfield, they're well into Missouri, and that's beautiful country through there. So they're going to be going down into Arkansas, it looks like. So hopefully nobody's riding with their cousin. You have to take a little sidetrack. I think it's Arkansas law. You got to stop and kiss your cousin when you get to state line. So hopefully there's no cousins riding together and you can just keep on going. Anyhow, I can only give Arkansas so much crap. That's for Ken. But anyhow, I'll let everybody go. I'll check the one more time. Check the comments. Make sure I'm not missing any questions about anything. Oh, let's see. Yeah, the Red Bull kicking in. Like, I need another Red Bull. I was just thirsty. I need water, but it's way in the back. So yeah, Hippie is recovering nicely. It's really, really awesome. So that's cool. All right. That's good. Let's see yeah, the goat thinks Mandy's going home. I'm not sure who Mandy is, but there's a Frosty up here somewhere. Because it's Frosty, but she is going home. I don't know. I want to see if they cross into Minnesota. I'm really gonna laugh they did. My daughter lives right off of the river there, so that'd be kind of funny if they do. They crossed right over there. So anyhow, we're gonna get after it. I got to get a motorcycle loaded up. I got to get to Sturgis. We have a booth. If anybody's in Sturgis, come see us. We're going to be at Black Hills Harley. They were nice enough to give us a booth at the rally. So we're going to have a booth at the rally, a Mile Monster booth. Come out and say hi, man. I got some cool bracelets we're giving out. Got some other things. We got some flyers. We're going to have Babe the Blue Bike there to give away. And got a lot of stuff coming up this week, so I'm looking forward to it. I just got to get in transit to get there. So these next couple shows are going to be in my truck tonight and tomorrow, probably both of them at the pace I'm going right now. But after that, they're going to be live from Sturgis. And we have a 55-inch TV that's going to have the tracker in the background. We're going to have people from the rally coming by. So I think it's really going to be fun. We're really going to have a great opportunity to spread a lot of awareness for all the cool stuff we got going on. And, the Hoka Hey going on is going to be, we're going to do great publicity for them as well as for us. Having that trackers going on is really going to put the Hoka Hey on the map as well. So get it with these other people who have never heard of the Hoka Hey. So I'm pretty excited about that too. So that's really cool. But with that, I'm out of here. I'll see everybody later. Oh, let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yep, I can't wait to see the Sturgis and get that booth set up. So it's going to be awesome. We have a Mile Monster booth. So I'll get some pictures of the drone. We'll post that. But we're going to talk to strangers and stuff. I'm really excited about it. It's really going to be pretty awesome how it's going. So if anybody has any questions, save them for 7 o'clock. Come on back, 7 p.m. Central. Come on back. Post your questions. I'll try to answer anything and everything I can as I'm looking. You got somebody you want to highlight? You got a husband, a wife, brother, sister, all the things I'm talking about. Put their number on there and say, check them out. And check them out. And if people are riding for charity and you want me to check the number, put the charity that they're riding for, what they're riding for, what their cause is. Because I'd love to talk about that as well. I got a big screen in front of me. I literally have my computer in my truck. I can show you my setup real quick. So this is a 23-inch monitor, and that's in my truck. So there's my dash in my truck, and there's my 23-inch monitor or whatever it is. So it will be awesome. I can look things up, if somebody has a charity they're riding for, we're obviously going to talk. We're going to talk Mile Monsters, and we're going to talk cool heroes and all the cool stuff they got going on. But I'm also willing to talk about other charities. There's all kinds of things people ride for, and that's what got me into the Hoka Hey. That's what gets a lot of people in, is having a big old heart. So somebody else wants to talk about something, don't think that we don't talk about other charities on this show. So this show is about charity work, about inspiring others to do great things. So we'll see you. Peace.